So part 2 of this musical tutorial, I'll be explaining the why chords themselves sound good, and why chord progressions sound good. So first of all, music is simply sound, which is vibrations in the air that travels in waves. And these waves are basically tiny air pockets of higher and lower air pressure. The pitch of each note sound different because of the frequency at which the pockets hit our ear. The higher the note, the higher the frequency, the more pockets that hit our ear. For example, middle C has a frequency of 262 hertz, meaning that every second, 262 pockets of air hit our ear. The best sounding interval is an octave. Why? Because the frequency of high C is exactly double the frequency of middle C. High C has a frequency of 524, while middle C has a frequency of 262. So for every middle C pocket of air pressure, there are exactly 2 high C air pockets. However, the two notes that are an octave apart are too constant, meaning they sound too good together. There's very little difference and variety between them, and the intervals sound hollow and boring. The next most consonant interval is a fifth interval. Middle C has a frequency of 262, while middle G, a perfect fifth, has a frequency of 392. So look at the chart above. Every other C air pocket lines up with every third G air pocket. So the ratio is 3/2. Every third pocket of G lines up with every other pocket of C. The notes complement each other, meaning that they do not sound too good together, that they sound hollow, but they don't sound awful together. One way to look at it is 3/2 is a simple fraction, so that's why C and G sound good together. So let's take a look at a dissonant interval, C and F sharp. Look at the chart above. As you can see, there's no close relation, and that's why the two notes don't sound good together. About every fifth pocket of C lines up with every seventh wave of F sharp, but 7/5 is a weird fraction, and winning 7 F sharp pockets before lining up with a C pocket causes the interval to sound dissonant. So now let's take a look at how the frequencies of a chord sound good together. So if you look at the chart above, C, E, and G. So every fourth wave of C, every fifth wave of E, and every sixth wave of G all line up, and many other times. Although not all the pockets line up, a good amount too. And it is this combination of variety and consistency that is required to make a good chord, one of the most pleasing sounds known to humanity. And the last reason for why chords sound good together is the harmonic series, also known as the overtone series, which is an acoustical phenomenon determined by nature, which means it just happens. Basically, whenever we hear a note, we are actually hearing several other notes above the main note. And these higher notes are predetermined by nature, and they follow a specific pattern. To display this, I'm going to talk about a guitar string. So when a guitar string vibrates, it produces the main note that we hear. However, the string naturally divides itself and vibrates as separate smaller sections, creating those higher overtones. The main vibrations is over all the minor vibrations. However, the string naturally divides itself by half, then in thirds, then fourths, then fifths, and sixths, and so on and so forth. So to see the pattern overtones, let's look at low C. The next highest note you would hear is an octave higher, middle C. Then a fifth, G. Then a fourth, C. And a third, E. And so on and so forth. The pattern is almost endless. So this is another reason why chords sound good together. A C major chord sounds good because the notes C, E, and G just naturally appear within the note C. Now I've explained why different notes of a chord sound good together, but why do different chords sound good together? One of the main things that allows certain chords to fit together is that they're diatonic. Every note played in each chord is part of a key of a song or a certain scale. The most important chords, however, is I, the root chord, IV, fourth, and V, the fifth. So let's look at the C major scale. The scale is lined up so there's 8 notes between middle C and high C. which leaves F and G in the middle. So all the chords are trying to lead up to the root chord. So you can see they're trying to find their way home. And every diatonic chord in a scale has this varying degree of magnetism or attraction to the root chord. And because I, V, and V are the farthest away from the root chord, they have the highest degree of attraction, or they really want to get back home. So I, V, and V, the root chord, the fourth, and the fifth, are the three primary chords. However, if you look on the chord progression chart for major scales, there are minor chords in there as well. These minor chords are the three secondary chords. In part 1 of this lesson, I mentioned how every major scale has a relative minor scale. So there are three secondary chords that are derived from this relative minor scale. For example, the relative minor scale for C major scale is the A minor scale. So from this, again, we get the root, the fourth, and the fifth chord from the A minor scale. The root, the fourth, and the fifth. So there you have it. Our three primary chords are C, F, G, and then our three secondary chords are A minor, D minor, and E minor. So the second reason that these chords sound good together is the harmonic series. The intervals, which were the octave, then the fifth, then the fourth, then the third, etc., are predetermined by nature to sound good together. So the fourth and the fifth are naturally tied to the root chord. And that's why IV, the fourth, and the fifth chord are the most important chords, along with the root chord. You may have noticed that every diatonic chord in any scale already has a place that I've talked about, and they just fit in. For example, on the C major scale, there's the root chord, C, the fourth, F, the fifth, G. And then there's A minor, D minor, and E minor. So if we go all the way up in order, we have C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor. So all those chords are covered. However, that leaves us with the diminished seventh. The explanation for this is that the fifth chord on the C major scale, which is G, is made up of G, B, and D. And if you look at the diminished seventh, it's made up of B, D, and F. Both chords already share two out of their three notes, so they can be used interchangeably. And a lot of times, the fifth chord is played as a fifth, seventh chord, which means you just add that last note. Now we're going to talk about common chord progressions to see when they're used in our everyday songs. So the common pop progressions, also one of the most overused progressions, is the first, the fifth, minor sixth, then the fourth. So on the C major scale, it's it was used in Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper and Someone Like You by Adele. And if you just change that progression, you end up with minor sixth, fourth, root, fifth. It was used in Complicated by Avril Lavigne, Snow by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Grenade by Bruno Mars. Here are one of the most common 1950s progressions. I, minor sixth, fourth, and fifth. So the first, sixth, fourth, fifth. It was in Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen and Poor Little Fool by Ricky Nelson. A common jazz progression is minor second, fifth, and root. Used in Satin Doll by Duke Ellington and Autumn Leaves by Everybody. Common blues progression is the first, the fourth, the first, the fifth, and then back to the first. So first, fourth, first, fifth, back to first. Used in Sunshine of Your Love by Cream and Give Me One Reason by Tracy Chapman. And other chord progressions have been used in multiple genres. For example, fifth, fourth, and the first. Used in Sweet Home Alabama by Lynyrd Skynyrd and Can't Explain Why by The Who, and Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. Even one of the most famous composers of all time, Pachelbel, used only the 3 primary chords and the 3 secondary chords. He used the first, the fifth, minor sixth, minor third, fourth, first, fourth, fifth. Even though there's a scientific reason and a natural law to why certain chords sound nice on their own or together, in the end everything depends on the audience's opinion. For example, Stravinsky's Rite of Spring in 1913. When the ballet first premiered on May 29, 1913, the music was so different compared to anything else at the time. The music had so much dissonant chords, unnatural rhythms, and the dance itself was very odd. The ballet was so terrible that there are records of over 40 people being arrested that night for violence, and other records say that the composer and conductor Stravinsky had to leave through a bathroom window. However, 20 years later, it was performed again in 1929, and Stravinsky became a musical hero. The once hated song was now loved, and even considered the most important song of the 20th century, just as Beethoven's Fifth Symphony was the most important song of the 19th century. So regardless of all the physics and natural phenomena I can throw at you, in the end, whether you like the sound of a chord depends on you. I could argue with you that the C major chord sounds good because the frequencies line up, or that the notes all appear naturally. But in the end, if you don't like it, then you don't like it. Opinions are always changing, but that's the beauty of music. No matter how different our tastes are, there's always some way to please them.